Welcome to the Threefold Real Estate Investing Podcast. This is the podcast where you'll not only learn how you can achieve massive success in multifamily real estate investing, but also how you can simultaneously pursue great relationships with your family and a better walk with God. You can achieve financial freedom through real estate investing without sacrificing the relationships that mean the most to you. Now, here's your host, Lee Yoder.
Welcome back, Threefold listeners. I hope you're having a great week this week. I think we've got a great episode for you today. I'm not as confident as I normally am because I normally have a great guest to bring to you. Today it's just me, so we'll see how this goes. I like doing these sometimes just when I've got something to share. I think I've got like a good case study or a good example or just a good topic to talk about. And this time I wanted to share with you a property that we just sold just a couple months ago. This is a 47 unit apartment building in Dayton, Ohio, that we bought just over 2 years ago. And just about exactly at the 2-year mark, we actually sold the property. So really great project. A lot went on. I certainly learned a lot. I think our team did. But really turned out well. Obviously, the market did help us, although, we didn't really sell at the peak. 2021 and the beginning of 2022 would have been the best time to sell just as far as the market goes with, high prices and low interest rates. Now we have still pretty high prices, still pretty good time to sell, but high interest rates just makes it harder on the buyer. So anyway, wanted to go all the way back, just share with you how we found it, what we did with it, a lot of the lessons we learned, and then why we decided to sell it and how that all ended up. So this is, like I said, a 47 unit, actually in Kettering, in the Kettering area of Dayton, Ohio. We called it Kettering 47, just to keep it simple for us and our investors. But the property was called the Alpine. So I'll refer to it as the Alpine because that's what we called it all along. That's what the sign out front of it says. And that's what we ended up just calling it the whole time. So we found the Alpine through some brokers here in Cincinnati, actually the Marks and Millichap group. They had another property listed. I think it was even on LoopNet. And this was back, I had only syndicated one apartment building. I'd bought 4, I guess, but 3 of those were really small, 16, 8, and 10 units. And then we had just done one 45 unit that we had just bought totally off market in the Dayton area. So we did not have much experience. So we were looking at this, I think it was a 54 unit up kind of more northwest Dayton, and liked it pretty well, but thought the price was a little bit off. And the broker I was with, again, through Marks and Millichap, he said, well, we do have another property. It's not for sale yet, but, it is going to be for sale. And so, we're showing people, do you want to go look at that one? I said, yeah, that sounds good. Like, not even listed yet. So we went and looked at the Alpine, just kind of walked around. I think we might've got to see, we got to see a couple units. Their little office in the basement, which was, not office, really the utility room. And I really liked it. I really liked the area. Kettering's a good area. So I thought this is a good area. The units were big. 44 of the 47 are 2-bed, 1.5 bath flats, but like almost, I think 1,100 square feet right there, maybe 1,064 is the number I have in my mind. Just thought a lot of potential, but not much had been done. And the outside didn't really look that great. There was a pool on the property that hadn't been used for 3 years. It was just dormant. And this, broken down fence around it and all this concrete, just a lot that you knew you could do. It really, to me, right away, it looked like, what so many people say you should look for is that, worst house on a good street or something like that, where just, it was very much a C-class property in a B-class area. And so that's what we're always looking for. Because you can't change the location, but you can change the property, right? So we really felt like we could do that with this one. And so I liked it. So now it's like, well, I like it, but the numbers have to work, right? So you go back and we underwrite. I love underwriting. I love putting all the numbers in and trying to figure it out. And it's one thing to put all the numbers in that the seller gives you, but you've got to decide. Yeah, but it doesn't matter how the seller operated. It doesn't matter, how much money they made in one sense. It really just matters how you're going to operate it, and you're going to operate it very differently. And the rents hopefully are going to be very different. And we saw a ton of upside. I think we bought it. Average rent was just under $650 a month. Again, these are 2-bed, 1.5 bath flats, almost 1,100 square feet. Average rent was literally like $649 or $648. And we felt like market rent was $900. Again, so this was, take you back. This was when we were underwriting, it was probably like March, April of 2021. We ended up buying it in June of 2021. So We put down an offer. We agreed to have our money go hard day one. That's tough. Back then, at least we were like pretty confident in the financing. Actually, this was an assumable loan. We assumed a Freddie Mac small balance loan on this one. So that was kind of interesting. So we knew the debt was good. The interest rate was 3.58%, fixed for like another 9 years because they were only 1 year into this loan. They had just refinanced. Interest only for 3 years. So we had 2 more years of interest only. So that was going to be nice. So we were pretty much interest only the whole time we had it. But that was time was running out. Another little motivation to sell. But yeah, we just felt like the debt was good. We knew we liked the area. We knew we could operate it well with the property management company we were working with. We had a property manager walk the property. That's important. And they were sold on it. They're like, man, this is fantastic, which, maybe they're wanting more business or whatever, but I think they honestly really like the property, like the area. They felt they could manage it well. And honestly, they're investors too. And they were like, man, we would buy this if you weren't, which is easy to say, but we just felt really confident about it. So got the offer in. There was another group offering on it. We were back and forth. We did offer, I think we had $100,000 going hard after our inspection period. So I don't know that the other group was willing to do that. We just felt confident in the area. We felt confident in the property. We felt confident in our purchase price. Just felt really good that we could, if we got through the inspection period, didn't find anything major, we were fine with, 6 figures going hard, which, is it's nerve wracking, but sometimes it's what it takes to get the deal done. I think that is what put us over the top. Because I think we were right there. I don't think we offered more than the other guy, but I think we had more hard money. So it gave the seller more assurity of closing, gave the brokers more assurity of closing. So we were able to get it under contract. So did the inspection. Things really went well with the inspection. Didn't really find anything big. I will say one learning lesson, just kind of jumping ahead, but as we're going through, we're really looking at the units and we want to do a lot of unit renovation. So I wasn't really that scared what we were going to find with the units because it's like, all right, if we find a bunch of units that need renovated, well, that's our plan anyway. And when you've got average rent at $650 and you think you're going to raise to $900, that's $250. You want some people to leave, and renovate those units. And so we weren't that scared, but we did know a lot of people were placed pretty recently because we had the rent roll. The rent roll will tell you when people moved in. And so we knew that. And so we knew, okay, like the seller, put some people in to try to, fill it up and get ready for sale. So maybe some of these aren't the best residents, but the thing that's tough with that is you don't know how people are going to treat their units. So some of these people that have been placed in the last few months, their units look pretty good, but they only live there for a few months. And what ended up happening down the road was that a lot of these residents, while they were really good people, it seemed like, they just did not take care of their unit. And a lot of them were just from different cultures, so from overseas actually, ended up just really having a bug problem. And it was really hard to solve because, again, just different culture, like different sanitary standards and different cooking standards, which just encouraged bugs to come in and made it really hard to get them out. So that's something that was really hard to pick up on during the inspection because they just been there. So we didn't have a bug problem when we took over. And you couldn't see it. And, a few more months in, a year in, now you can see it. Like you walk in and you see it in the units and it was nothing like that in the inspection. So lesson learned. That's a tough one to uncover though, right? Because you go in and how are you going to know these people are going to, invite bugs and it's so, but what I'll say is about that is just be prepared for it, be ready for it, be ready for things to happen and just have a lot of reserves. Was another big lesson we learned in this, but I'll just back up. So, we got under contract. We put our property management on, in place. It's a property management company we had been working with, felt good about them. They came in and started doing a good job. We did a lot of CapEx projects. So again, we felt like this is a C-class property in a B-class area. And so we really had this vision for it. And I guess back up even more, we had to find investors for it. So we went out to our group of investors that we kind of have our email list and, emailed them and we've been, preparing them for, these are the kind of deals we do. And we had a lot of people that voiced interest in doing that with us, coming in as passive investors. And so it was good, but we had to raise more than we'd ever raised. The most I had ever raised on a project was $550,000. We needed 1.3 million for this one. So that was a huge bump, so intimidating. The good thing, and so because we were assumed a Freddie Mac small balance loan, we had to have a certain net worth. You have to have a net worth equal to the loan amount, and you have to have a liquidity equal to paying what you need to pay the loan for a year. My business partner, Kevin, and I did not have that. So we brought on my mentor. He came on, he and his wife, to sign on the loan with us and be a part of this project. And they have a lot of connections in the RIA. So that really helped us attract more investors from the local RIA here in Cincinnati, which is really helpful. So that was a big part of this was raising $1.3 million and putting this all together because, we can't buy the property on our own. But they came in, like I said, we got our property management company put in place and we got right to work. Again, if this is a C-class property in a B-class area, we want to kind of as quickly as we can turn it into a B-class property, especially on the outside. If you want to replace the windows, we didn't end up doing anything in the parking lot, but I think that's a great one to spend money on. We got rid of the pool. It just was not worth bringing back. So we leveled that and turned that into a beautiful green space. So it went from like having this huge eyesore to just being like, wow, this property has a lot of beautiful green space. Just really cleaned up, spent, probably 8-10 grand on landscaping, things like that. And really, tons of trash. We got cleaned up, redid the area around the trash dumpsters. And within, a few months, we've got the property looking completely different. So you do that for two reasons. Probably the more obvious reason is for new residents. So the vacant units that we had, or the people that decide to move out, we've got these vacant units. When we bring people on the property and we're trying to rent the units now for $900, we want the property to look really good. We want it to look like a $900 a month property. And so that's why you do those projects early on to fill your units at your target rent. And so that's great. But another reason that some people might not realize is that the current residents need to see that too, because we're going to raise rent on them. So we're coming in $650 is really under market. Obviously market rent's $900, but that's for a nice unit. Some of these people were living in units that hadn't been renovated for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years, right? So we're not going to get them anywhere close to 900, but we might raise them to 700. We might even raise some of them to 750. And that's a big pill to swallow. But if they see that, well, I live in a lot nicer property right now. We actually painted the entire interior. I didn't say that either. So we made the interior look much better. So if they see, well, they're raising my rent, but I live in a lot nicer place now. And, I'm not thrilled with the new ownership, because they're raising my rent, but new ownership's putting a lot of money into the property as well. So it's not all take, it's some give and take. And so you'll get a lot of people that will renew more likely because you're putting money in the property, making it a nicer property, a place that they do want to live. It's like, maybe they kind of wanted to move to a nicer place anyway. And it's like, well, now the place I live is a nicer place. So that's why you spend all that money early on. So we did that. We went after it. There were 13 garages, run down, broken garage doors. We replaced all those garage doors as well. We painted the exterior as well as doing all the windows. Anyway, we went right after and got this property looking good. And so, really felt good about our plan that first half of the year, the second half of 2021. And then at the beginning of 2022, we had a fire and we were right in the middle of renovation. So we're really getting after it. And then we had this big fire that took out 5 units. It really just burned 1 unit. Everybody was okay. Took down 5 units for the duration, which the duration ended up being 9 months. This was a 9-month process. So 5 units we couldn't rent. Now, our insurance reimbursed us for those 9 months for those units. Our insurance took care of everything. We had a good insurance, really good insurance broker. If you need one, let me know. I've got a good one. And so we were covered there, but man, was it a nightmare. It's just a tough process dealing with insurance, right? And dealing with all that rehab. So it was tough. And then, so the other thing that started coming around at that same time, 2022 was a tough year for us with this property. We really, it's like when you're flipping a house, right? Like you kind of go down, like way down. You tear everything out. You're just pouring money into it. And like, you kind of hit the bottom, and then all of a sudden it starts looking a lot better, right? And then eventually you sell it and make a big profit. We really experienced that. And then the fire just added to it, where I'll talk about it. We end up, kind of benefiting from that fire in a way, but it really took us to like a new low because of course we had these 5 units and the whole building was smoky. So we ended up having a whole building repainted. We lost some other residents kind of due to that, some of the smell and stuff like that. And then what I mentioned in the beginning was some of the residents that just made it difficult to near like impossible to get the bug problem under control. Some of them started leaving and their units were just really rough. And then I don't have to tell you about inflation. The good part of inflation was we started renting for more. So then I think about this time we were probably getting $950 instead of $900. So that was awesome. But our unit renovations were costing like $16,000 instead of $12,000. So that was a lot. And then we're doing a lot more unit renovations because we were not renewing some leases on some people. And so we were getting a lot of unit renovations coming. So through 2022, just doing so many unit renovations, working through the fire, it was tough. It was really tough. We actually ended up, within the first year of an apartment syndication, really into syndication, you can continue raising money. So our capital raising period is a year. Now we raised the entire 1.3, but we still have a year we can still raise. So our investors know there's a range of what we might raise, but all of our projections were based on 1.3 million. We ended up raising another 150,000 to continue with all the unit renovations and pay for the increase in the cost because we knew it was worth it. Because yeah, we're going to have to put more money in the property. So yes, we are bringing in more investors. So it's going to dilute our original investors. So instead of 1.3 million, we're at 1.45 million, but we're getting a lot more in rent. The property is going to be worth more than we thought. So we knew that was a good trade. And we sold that to our investors. They agreed with that. They bought into that. So we brought in more investors, but still we were blowing through that money, just all unit renovations. We stayed so far ahead. I had a stat for my investor. I don't know if I have it right here, but the plan was to do, I think we were planning on doing 30 unit renovations in the first 4 years. And we did 29 in the first two, in the two that we owned it. So, it was a lot. My business partner, Kevin, and I, and then I, with my wife and my kids, we were out there doing a lot of it ourselves, trying to save because we knew we were just kind of blowing through it. So probably the biggest lesson I learned on this one, was to have more reserves. And just as I said that, I realized I forgot of something. We paid a big tax settlement bill on this one. If you don't know what that is, it's just this stupid thing in Ohio where property values are much less than the sale price. And a local school board can find out about that and hire an attorney and come after you and ask you to kind of pay up. And we had to do that. And that was 6 figures that we had to pay in a one-time payment right now. And that hurt pretty bad. Again, so that goes into why we raised another 150 because we lost 100. So that just really hurt us. We needed that money. So we raised some more but we were even blowing through that, just doing so many unit renovations. Again, just such a faster pace. So when you're doing that, and the fire played into this where it kind of made it difficult, but then as the fire got done, we got the entire building interior painted again, which that wasn't really that helpful because we'd already done it, but they actually replaced the flooring because we had so much smoke damage and the carpet was all carpet. So it all smelled like smoke. So we got the carpet replaced as part of that. And then not only the unit that was charred, but there were 3 other units that they did full unit renovations because they had so much smoke damage in them. So that was kind of done for free. Like our insurance paid for that. Of course, we pay for our insurance, but we don't pay that much for it. So we kind of made out to get new carpet throughout the buildings. It just made them look so much better and then get those units done. I mean, they did them really nice. So we brought people in. And by this time, toward the end of 2022, we actually brought in a new property management company. And they were, just probably better at the B-class properties. And then we were truly had turned this into a B-class property, especially after the fire was done, all the new carpet, these really nice units. They came in, we started getting 1,100 a month in these units. So again, we went from an average of 650 and now we're getting 1,100 for the nice units. 2 of the units that the insurance company redid for us, they made really nice, obviously, because everything was brand new. We got 1,300 a month for those units. So we are now increasing the value of the property. If you know how an apartment's valued, if you're listening to this, you probably do, but it's based on net operating income. And the more you can increase the revenue, which, comes from rents, and if you can keep your expenses, stable, then your NOI, your net operating income, your cash flow before you have to pay the mortgage is going to go up. And that's how your property is valued, that divided by a cap rate. And so the value was just skyrocketing. Yes, we were spending through all of our capital because we were doing all these projects and doing so many unit renovations and doing them so much faster that we got to a point by the end of 2022 where I said, we are running out of capital. Again, even though we raised that extra 150, we're running out because we're doing so many unit renovations. So that's good. The property's worth so much more, but it's really difficult for cash flow because when you increase rent, it does increase your cash flow, but we were spending it so much on unit renovations. We weren't cash flowing very well, but the property was worth so much. The property was worth so much more than it was supposed to be after just 2 years. So we had to, in my mind, we had 2 options. We either had to bring in more capital, which would be like doing a capital call, or, here at Threefold, we thought, maybe we'll just put the money in, lend the property some money, maybe at a low interest rate or something like that, so that we can continue with kind of what I would call, we probably did phase 1 and phase 2, maybe even phase 3, but maybe phase 4 and phase 5 we still need to be done. And you're going to need more capital to do that. And really, it was just renovating the other 18 units. We did 29 of the 47, so there were 18 left. And you could see the path because, again, we're now getting 1,100 for all the units. We got 1,300 on 2 that we made really nice. So you could say, hey, what about those other 18? What if we make them really nice? And that's like all new cabinets. There was even a way we could maybe add a dishwasher, things like that, and then get 1,300, which has been proven on 2 units. So either we do that, or we go to the market and sell and see if somebody else wants to come in and bring that capital in and finish out, phase 4 and phase 5 of the Alpine. And so we went to our brokers. It's like, everybody says that, everything's always for sale for the right price. So we thought, well, this is a price. And for us, it always goes back to our investors. Like we told them, here's the return we're going to get. Can we get that to them? When you sell early, it's exciting. A lot of investors might be excited about that. They get their capital back early plus all the profit. And so they can go get that in another deal. Sometimes it's like, well, I'd rather just stay in a deal. That way I don't have to find all these different deals. And you pay taxes when you sell, right? It's long-term capital gain. So it's better than just your ordinary income. So there's, tax advantages there. But some people just want to stay in the deal. And so when you sell early, you should be able to exceed expectations because your return per year should be a lot higher when you hold it for less years, right? Because that sale profit, the profit that you make on the sale is usually that big chunk. And so if it's spread out over 2 years instead of 5 years, a 2-year hold versus a 5-year hold, you should do a lot better. So we again, decided to take the brokers. What do you think we could get? And they end up, thinking they could get a price that probably made sense for us. So we started to explore it. And they had a 1031 buyer where, he really liked actually working with our property management company. He liked buying in the area that our property was. And he had this 1031. He had a money. And if you don't know what that means like he sold something, I think he sold some other apartment buildings. And let's say he made, $3 million in profit. Well, if he just takes that profit, he's going to pay long-term capital gains, right? But that might be a quarter, right? So, we're talking $70,000, $75,000 that he's going to pay in taxes. So in order to avoid that, he can take that $3 million and reinvest it. And he likes investing anyway. So anyway, our property just kind of fit what he was looking for. So we were really able to come to an agreement on a price that we just felt like was a great price. And so we ended up selling it. So that was, again, out like exactly 2 years because we bought it in June of 2021 and the sale closed in June of 2023. Very seamless on the close. We had a great buyer. He was great to work with. And then the Marks and Millichap have always been great to work with. We really like those guys here in Cincinnati. But yeah, just some numbers. So we bought it for $2.8 million. I guess I didn't share that at the beginning. We assumed a Freddie Mac loan, which was at $1.95 million. So we raised $1.3 million at the beginning, but ended up going up to $1.45 million that we raised from investors. We spent about $470,000 on this. Again, replaced all the windows, painted the exterior, painted the interior, got rid of the pool, did a ton of landscaping, replaced 13 garages, and then did 29 unit renovations. So you can do the math on that. Just, 10 grand is 290,000. We were, at least 300 grand on unit renovation. So, a lot there. So we were all in for 3.4 million. Is what we were all in for. We ended up selling for 4.625. And so really happy with that sale price. So our profit was just under $1 million for us and our investors. And so we were able to get them an annualized return of 23%. So really excited about that. Their equity multiple, which means how much did we increase their original investment was 1.45. So it means if you invested 100,000, then you got 145,000 back. So in total, that includes the cash flow and the profit from sale. So really great result. I mean, of course, like I said, when you sell in 2 years, you should do pretty well. The market helped us. Again, it was not the best time to sell because interest rates were higher, but we still were able to do very well. So really difficult project, something we learned a lot on, with the fire, with the tax settlement, with doing so many more unit renovations in such a shorter period of time. Again, like half that we were supposed to do 30 in 4 years. And we did 29 in 2 years. So just really humming for us. I mean, some people can do those quicker than that, but for us, that was really fast. And, but so we progressed the property so much quicker, but that's really tough to do. But sold it and got a really great result. And, would love to do more of them. So the exciting part about that for us and our investors is they said, well, all right, this was good, but now we got to do it again. Now we got to put our money to work again. And so we're looking forward to doing that. Yeah. So, it was fun sharing the story of the Alpine with you. If you want to know more about what we do here at Threefold, jump on our website. That's threefoldrei.com, spelled out THREEFOLD. REI as in realestateinvesting.com. A bunch of good stuff for you there. You can kind of get to know us and what we do. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn and Facebook, so you can find me there. But yeah, happy to share fun sharing the Alpine. It was a really fun project, a true labor of love for us and really my entire family. I had my wife and the kids out there a lot, trying to do some of the work and make this project work. And God bless us with a great outcome. So really grateful for that. So thanks for listening in and humoring me while I shared the story of the Alpine. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another great episode. I hope you'll take action on what you've learned today. If you enjoyed today's show, please consider leaving Lee a 5-star rating and review. And check him out on threefoldrei.com. Until next time, 1 Timothy 6:17.